What's up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with a little bit of commentary regarding Halo 5 Guardians, which we know is coming very soon in October. I've been doing a few videos on Halo 5 here and there because I am a huge fan of the Halo series, and I'm really hoping that they get this one right and that it's a lot of fun, and 343 can kind of get back to doing a good job with Halo. Now, one little bit of interesting news that has come out recently. Of course, you guys know all the stuff about the split screen co-op not being in the game. I did a video on that a little bit ago, and basically how, I don't think it's a great idea for them to be cutting out that kind of content from Halo, especially when it's been in the game for such a long period of time. It's kind of a staple of the series. But, I kind of gave my opinions on that. Well, 343 has come out and done something else that is a little bit... it's kind of just, I don't know, it's a decision I'm not a real huge fan of right now. And they have announced basically that Halo 5 Guardians is going to be T14 in terms of the rating it gets from like the gaming rating systems, the gaming board, and all that stuff. So, not really a great decision in my mind. Now, guys, first off, I don't have any problem with younger gamers, who like to play games and shooters and things. But, games need to be age appropriate, and I think one of the reasons that Destiny really was such a disappointing game when it first came out is because it was rated T for teen. Now, one of my favorite gaming series obviously is Mass Effect, and I can only imagine how watered down and kind of awful Mass Effect would be if it came out and was T for teen. When games come out and they're T for teen, a lot of things really have to be dumbed down, including the story and some of the mature content that's in the game, because they're trying to make the game for a younger audience. And, this wouldn't be such a big deal with Halo, except for the fact that every single Halo game prior to Halo 5 has always been M for mature. Now, it's always been a little bit of a soft M for mature. Halo hasn't exactly been like a giant gore fest like games like, for example, Doom and things like that. It's not, or Wolfenstein or anything that's come out. It's not really a huge gore fest. I mean, there is blood, and there's blood and guts, and there's some pretty gruesome scenes here and there, like in, Combat Evolved. The Master Chief basically punches his fist right through Captain Key's head to rip out his implant in one of the later missions in the game. It's a spoiler in case anybody hasn't played Halo, but there's quite a lot of gruesome scenes. There's, especially regarding the Flood, who are one of the greatest enemies ever in any video game history. The Flood were a very gruesome enemy when it came to Halo, and they always had some kind of nasty stuff with them, some transformations, and they've got all the tentacles and the way they stab their victims, and just a lot. There's some gruesome things that happen in the Halo games, and so it's very unfortunate to me, number one, that they decided they're going to go this T for teen route for Halo 5 Guardians. For a couple of reasons. Number one, like I said, I think one of the biggest things about, one of the reasons Destiny was so disappointing was because it was supposed to be this very kind of complex story, this game that dealt into a lot of mature themes, and judging on what was released for it prior to it coming out in 2014, and then the game came out and it was T for teen, obviously, and a lot of the story was watered down. There just wasn't a whole lot of mature content there. The aliens, even though we're using weapons and guns and shooting aliens, they explode in little flashes of light. There's no blood, and there's really not that much violence and things. And it's just, it's kind of very clear that Activision and Bungie went that route because they wanted to sell more copies of the game. Now, in this day and age, there's a lot more younger gamers out there. If you can get a T for teen rating, you just open yourself up to a lot more profit. You're able to get more people out there, especially kids with parents who just have money to spend and they want to go with that electronic babysitter, buy their kids more video games. They're definitely trying to take advantage of something like that. And that was something I believe Activision and Bungie did pretty well, quite unfortunately, when they decided to do it for Destiny. Now, this, like I said, it comes as a surprise for Halo because Halo's always been an M for mature game. And now that is no longer the case. And I think part of that is because obviously Halo 5 Guardians is only coming out on the next-gen systems. It's not going to actually be on the Xbox 360, excuse me. And that's something I think 343 might be a little bit nervous about, because you are losing a ton of sales by not having the game on the old-gen consoles, because quite honestly, a lot of people have yet to convert over to the new consoles, especially the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 is a lot more popular. I can understand why. I'm not going to turn this into a console war, but a lot of people, for whatever reason, have not transitioned over to the Xbox One from the Xbox 360, and I can understand why. The 360 was a very good console. Quite honestly, you know, I bought my Xbox One over a year ago, and I really don't even play it that much. There just aren't many games out on it that I really enjoy. Destiny is a much better experience on PlayStation 4, as I've found so far, but there really just have not been a lot of great exclusives or just anything in general to take advantage of the Xbox One. There was Master Chief Collection, of course, but, you know, this game was plagued by a lot of bugs at release. It was not very enjoyable when it first came out, and a lot of people left. But I think this is maybe a little thing for 343 to kind of make up some of that money they're going to lose by having the game only on Xbox One. If they open it up to be a T14 game, they're obviously going to be able to get a lot of that younger gaming crowd with parents who want to buy those games for their kids. And it's you know, a way for them to make up a little bit of profit maybe on the game. Who knows? Personally, I think it's just a bad idea. And I think it also means that we're not going to see the Flood making a return to Halo, which is unfortunate because I think they're definitely missing from the series. It would be great to have. I know it's probably difficult to get them into the Halo universe now, possibly after, you know, the events of Halo 3 and things like that, but I'm sure the Flood could make a return somehow. And, you know, overall, I haven't really thought the Prometheans were that great of an improvement or a replacement villain for the Flood. The Flood are always just one of those great villains in Halo that made it really enjoyable to play. And I think because the game is obviously T14, I don't think we're going to be seeing the Flood make a return since they only appeared in those for mature Halo games. And the Flood are quite gruesome, so I don't know. Hopefully we'll see them at some point. I hope they're going to be in Halo 5, but at this point I doubt it, especially seeing that T14 rating. And I really hope that this T14 rating means, or does not mean, that Halo 5's story is going to be watered down and less complicated, less mature. Because let's be honest, look at, even though, like I said, the Halo games for the most part have been kind of a soft M for mature, they've often covered some pretty extensive topics. We've got, you know, religion is always something that's been covered in the Halo games, between the Covenant, you know, and how they worship the Halo rings and the Forerunners as their gods and things like that. There have been a lot of very mature topics covered in the Halo games, and I think that's something that is a bit concerning for Halo 5, is that they are choosing instead to go for this T14 rating, which unfortunately does not allow you to have as much of a mature feel to the game and feel to the story. So hopefully what happened with Destiny, where we got this very watered down and kind of, you know, dumbed down experience to appeal to the younger kids who just want to shoot things. I hope that doesn't happen with Halo 5 Guardians, but it definitely is a concern, and I think this is a bad move for the game in general that it's going to be T14. You know, it's just it just doesn't seem like. Seems like the focus nowadays is more on simplified content and just dumbing games down to sell more copies to more people, including younger kids. So we'll see if that happens. Like I said, I have no problem with younger gamers, guys. I just, you know, I'm just kind of tired of seeing so many games that are traditionally for a little bit more mature audience being toned down just so that they can sell more copies of the game. You know, if you're a kid and you're a certain age and you're not at the right age to play a game, then you shouldn't play it. You know, I firmly believe in that, but. You know, it's not that I have a problem with younger gamers. I just don't think companies should be dumbing down these games in order to sell more copies of them. And, you know, in essence, giving, you know, hyping us up and then giving us a much a lackluster kind of watered down game at the end of the day. So hopefully that won't happen with Halo 5 Guardians. It's still a game I'm very much looking forward to. I think Warzone is definitely going to be a very cool experience and cool part of the Halo series. But for the campaign, it's going to be interesting to see how that T14 rating winds up affecting the game. Anyways, guys, that's going to about do it for my commentary on the T14 rating on Halo 5 Guardians. Let me know what you guys think about that. If you think it's a bad idea, you know, if you think they would be better off with an M for mature again, and let me know just overall what your thoughts are so far on Halo 5's development process. You know, there's been some good, there's been some bad. It's 343. It's always kind of a mixed bag with them. So let me know what you guys think, and of course, welcome your comments below. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again next time.